Now, the 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Brought to you by Burkins Chevrolet. If you're from GA or FLA, you should be driving a Burkins Chevrolet. Come on.
Hit it. Come on. Jeff, I did something last night I've never done before. Okay. I went and watched a high school lacrosse game for about a quarter and a half.
Okay. You know somebody in the game? Or
yeah, I had friends on both sides. And
did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's these old eyes don't see the ball that well, so that would be my one. I need a little blue streak behind it, like in hockey, if you don't mind. Huh? What? But the fans were all. Now this was a district championship game, so it was more.
Who were the teams?
It was Fletcher and Providence. It was more crowded, and there was an intensity there, which I always like. I love listening to. I love when I don't have a dog in a fight. Listening to the fans, it's the greatest.
Yeah.
Providence won, but it was. I learned a few things. Like one of the things when you have the ball on offense, lacrosse talk.
I tried to watch a JU game, and I just didn't quite understand the rules good enough.
Here's the one thing I picked up on, and this is simply one other thing I will move on. But anyway, you're attacking the goal, right? Now, with your players, I don't know how many there are. Don't ask me any of these questions. You're throwing the ball around. You attack the goal. You fire a shot. Now, if you miss, the ball goes past out of bounds. But they give it back to the offensive team if whoever's closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds. Because you would think you shoot it goes the other way if you miss.
You just set somebody out there next to the line in case you ever miss.
Well, it encourages it because you got to play defense, but it encourages more, shooting at the goal. So it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it, and I can see why it's an exciting and growing sport.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
good.
Providence won that district. They get to play Ponte Vedra. I guess Ponte Vedra is the big boy in lacrosse and high school lacrosse around these parts. So
all right, let's start the 10-minute drill. Well, I want to take you back down to the.
And then I had a couple shooters. I got hammered drunk and.
Oh yeah, I don't believe that
walked
at all.
home.
Yeah, no, I can see it trudging down Pablo with half baked.
I fell into the. It's another story. The
Screaming at people.
Sprinkler came on. Fell into it.
Yeah, CSI ends up showing up.
It was a mess.
Let's go back to the state of the franchise. I think we handled a lot of the facilities and that kind of thing, and Tom Coughlin's comments. But something else that came out yesterday was sometimes it is as obvious as it seems. And I can remember heading into free agency not knowing exactly where the Jaguars stood on Nick Foles, but we found out yesterday in the sidebar media that they knew, as soon as the season ended.
Like we knew.
Right. They wanted Nick Foles.
Yes.
And so they have him. And, I was thinking this, and I know Mark Brunell went on to great things, but the most accomplished quarterback the Jags have ever had?
Oh, sure. Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Here's the thing. The answers will come our way here in the next again, I've said this before, Nick Foles, the hope and prayer for the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise, and this is a big deal, is that you remember Nick Foles far more as a Jacksonville Jaguar than as a Philadelphia Eagle.
Well,
if that happens, then the Jags will have had a lot of success.
Well, it's going to mean that he's going to have to play well into his 30s. Because he is 29 years old.
That's great.
Yeah.
6 years. If he plays great for 6 years, Jeff.
There are some of those, 6, because there's some of those. Look, there are the Bradys and the Brees and the Mannings, who, by the way, not only are playing great football later, but they're also the 3 best quarterbacks of the last 25 years. So that might have something to do with playing into your late 30s. Yeah. But
they were playing good in their 20s. Is what you're saying.
You look at the Eli Mannings and the Joe Flaccos, and you see 35 being more of a.
But if you can remember Nick Foles more as a Jacksonville Jaguar than a Philadelphia Eagle.
Ooh.
If Nick Foles has when his time here is all done, and you go to the Jaguar Media Guide, page 17, Jaguar team records, and you go to quarterback play, second paragraph, and it says most pass attempts, most completions, highest percentage rate, most touchdowns this season, most touchdowns career. And Nick Foles yards and blah blah blah. Nick Foles' name is number 1 on all those. That's what they want. That's what they need. That's what they expect. That's what they hope. And that's
gonna have to hustle to catch Brunell because like I said, he doesn't have a 10-year window in front of him most likely.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, the name is Kerry Blackshear Jr.
Did they get him?
Oh, I don't know. But that's they being the University of Florida basketball team, he being a 6'10" or 11.
He's a good player.
Big man, who's a good player from Orlando, Florida.
Virginia Tech is who
does he go to the NBA? Does he go back? Does he go to Florida? Does he go someplace else? But he would be a real big, important piece of a puzzle for the University of Florida basketball team. Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially while you wait a year on the transfer from Louisiana Tech. I don't like the direction college basketball has gone.
Yeah.
I don't like you keep a nucleus of 4 players and everybody else changes teams. I just, somewhere somebody's going to get burned big time, whether it's a player, a team, a coach, a school. But I do think, and I read something this week about the NCAA is going to take a good hard look at the transfer portal.
The portal.
And what it's become. I mean, it's just
they ought to be doing that by about 2025 if you follow the pace that the NCAA works on these things.
That's for sure.
Might have some answers about 2030. One more Gator note. There was a little story out there that Texas is interested in a little home and home with the Gators. Any interest in that?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
Do it.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Does it mean we don't have to play, Towson State? This schedule this year, somebody needs to call Scotty Strickland and just say, bro,
I got Miami on it.
I don't care. You have Towson, and then 2 weeks later, you've got McNeese or someone.
Towson and McNeese?
I don't know who the other one is. I don't even know. It's that bad. It is
dear.
Terrible.
Oh, no.
2 of those guys. Stop it. I don't go
play Tua?
Play Illinois. Play a big, play somebody who can never beat you from a big conference. Get Rutgers down here.
Problem is you schedule those boys 5 years out, 10 years out. You never know.
I know this. McNeese State is never any good. Schedule them 40 years out. That wasn't a good one. All right.
Jeff, I got a quick one for you.
Oh, another one.
I know you spent last night going through the 488 pages of the Mueller report. I'd like to know your findings. Why are you shaking your head, Beef?
Jeff's findings are redacted.
My findings are redacted. The only thing I'll say about that
is...
No. It has nothing to do with the Mueller report. I will say this, though. We are very fortunate in this country. There's not one prevailing, the media is just polarized as people are, too. In other words, there's no, state-run media or anti-state-run media where that's the only info you can get. With all the various platforms, if you want to feel good about your side, you can find the quote Main Street media that'll make you feel good about your side. The whole thing is a mess, isn't it? All right. Dan Hicken?
Yes, I'm ready.
LeBron James obviously is not in the playoffs this year.
Yes, and that's a problem for the NBA.
You can look at the 16 teams that are, and you're down a point. And
by the way, ratings are 30% down for the start
with
of the
no
playoffs.
LeBron.
I just thought that probably is something.
I think no LeBron probably has something to do with that.
Yeah.
You're down 1 point with 20 seconds to go.
Down 1, 20 to go.
And you can have any player of the 16 teams that are in the league. Who are you giving the ball?
I'm taking future Nick Kevin Durant.
You are?
Yes.
I wouldn't take him.
What? Do you not remember in the knockdown dragout with Cleveland just a couple seasons ago?
Hitting those
when
big
he
shots.
Needed a big shot down the stretch.
You know,
he pulled up on LeBron and drained one.
You brought up the guy that I would take from that same game. Do you not remember a couple of years ago when the Cleveland Cavaliers had to win the series, who hit the shot to win it?
Kyrie.
Yeah, it wasn't LeBron.
Yeah.
And
Kyrie's clutch, man.
This takes probably a day old. It should have been made yesterday after Kyrie single-handedly beat the Pacers.
Yes.
Because,
man, it's so crazy how the narrative changes after one game for one guy, though.
Well, 2 games
Kyrie Irving has been just slaughtered all season.
2 games for Kyrie, though. He did it both games.
Yeah.
So it's not just been the first game. But, yeah, you're right. Well, I did hear a good point made by someone yesterday, and I watch and listen and read so much sports, I don't know where it came from.
That was me then.
Okay, then you said this yesterday. It was great. That was a great point.
Right here on the program.
When you get to the playoffs, okay, it's not like the regular season. You can't just draw up a play and then go execute your play because you know each other so well. You know where the screen's coming, where the pass is going, what the strategy is. You need to have a guy who can go make the play. There is no play. He's the play.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that mentality, Uncle Drew is about as good as anybody in the league at that.
Yeah.
So maybe we went to sleep a little too early on Boston, or I did. Maybe they are or should be the favorite in the East still, based on what they've done in the past. We'll see what Milwaukee, Toronto, and hopefully Philly have to say about it. I say hopefully Philly because pretty clear we had a couple of flukes in these playoffs early. The Nets winning a game in Philly and the Clippers winning a game against Golden State.
And we spent, not we, but the dudes, the experts, spend so much time on, after one of those games, not trusting their eyes and not trusting an 82-game season and not trusting a win-loss record and not trusting better players versus players who aren't as good, trying to come up with all the ways that this is going to be an upset in a series.
Right, like the Warriors are somehow going to lose, or the Phillies going to lose to the Nets. No, they're not.
Warriors said, okay.
Yeah, this isn't the NCAA tournament. If it were, we would have had some serious March Madness.
What about
because teams lost, but
right. Right. What about the one other NBA note, Jeff Prosser? What about the kid from Colorado Springs, Mountain Lions?
This is NBA.
Yeah, had a heck of a game. Former first-round pick.
Who? What are you talking about?
Talking about the first-round pick from Colorado Springs Mountain Lions. Ended up at Colorado for his last year.
You know Derek White?
Derek White, very nice.
Good pull.
Very good pull.
Derek White, I had like 38 or something or 31 for the Spurs last night.
Yeah.
Beef asked me last week, well, before the playoffs were getting ready to get started, and I don't know where you were. You were in the bathroom or something.
Who's going to establish themselves?
No.
And you said Derek White.
No. But he said, what's
during the vacay.
What's the most likely upset?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and 7. I took the 7th seeded Spurs over the 2nd seeded Nuggets, and now they're up 2-1, and that team's not all that good, man. This is probably Pop's best coaching job. This is starting to get Belichickish.
Oh.
A little bit. All right, that's the 10-minute drill. You're welcome. We'll tack on 4 Guns N' Hoses tickets a week from Saturday in the arena to go along with the floral delivery from Kuhn Flowers and a combo meal from Chick-fil-A.
Excellent.
Hick, what number callers should Beef take this morning?
Well, as you know, Jeff, Friday is the 5th day of the week. If you go by the fact that Monday's the 1st, if you start the week with Sunday, it's the 6th. But in this particular Good Friday,
5.5.
We're going to go
5.5.
The guy who calls in right after 5 and before 6, Beef. You be the judge.
Too close to call.